Hi, I'm Suzanne Tinelli. I'm owner of Fibrenew Hagerstown. Thanks for spending the day with me today. What we're going to do is we have 2 RV jobs and we have a repair on a car interior seat, and we're going to do a quote for some furniture work. I started my franchise a few years ago, and as soon as I finished training and had the graduation, an adjacent Fibernew told me that, hey, you know, I have this job just waiting for you. They said it's peeling, it looks like it's peeling vinyl. I go down there to the customer. I was really nervous, but I go down there to the customer and she tells me, and so it's actually a real leather couch, and it was an expensive couch, but the problem is the pieces in between the couch, in between the different sections of the couch, they used a really cheap vinyl, and that was peeling. It was a little bit of an unusual color, and so I didn't have any leather that matched it. I couldn't, you know, I didn't see any leather that matched it, but we were taught how to dye leather and we know how to match colors. And so I bought a hide of leather and I dyed it, and then I took her couch apart and then put the couch back together, and I delivered it back to her, and she was thrilled, and I even made a little bit of money. And then when I told, you know, the people from Fibrenew, they're like, how's your first week going or whatever? And I told them what I did, and they're like, wow, you just went right in for that, huh? That's a lot. And I was like, well, you taught us how to do all this stuff. So in hindsight, it was a lot for a first job, and not an easy job, but we did it, right? 2 weeks of training, we're good to go. So there's an RV dealership that I do a lot of work for, and they have a customer that has damage on their floor. It looks like it's, from the pictures I saw, it looks like there's a little slit in it. So we're going to fix that. I have a technician who works with me most days, usually about 3 or 4 days a week, and I actually met him volunteering together. He started working for me about 6 months ago, and originally I thought that he would be working, you know, that we'd run like separate vans or something like that. But it's actually worked out really good and more efficient to work together. So he drives and I answer phone calls and do invoices and follow up with customers and order material. And then when we get to the customer's location, you know, we just get on it, and he sets up all of the, you know, he pulls all the equipment out, usually while I'm, you know, mixing up color or getting started on the job. And then when we finish up, then I'll usually be invoicing the customer, finishing up with them, having them check out the work, and he loads everything back into the van. And also when you're doing work like on a boat, or if you're inside an RV, if you're sitting on, you know, inside the floor, or I've actually done work inside these cubby holes, you know, where I've crawled in there, and it's way more efficient to be like, hey, can you hand me that little bottle? Hey, can you hand me this tool? I need another paper towel, whatever it is. You know, it's a lot more efficient to have somebody else just handing you that than to have to crawl in and out, in and out. So I didn't realize how much efficiency there would be to have 2 people versus one person. So it's not even just, so it's a situation of not just 1 + 1 = 2, it's a 1 + 1 = 3 that we get more benefit out of that. And also we do a lot of different stuff, which is one thing that I love about this job. And sometimes it's good to have different ideas and a different perspective, and oh yeah, do you remember the way we did that on the other thing? You should do that on this one. So sometimes it's good to have an extra brain. Can I come in and check it out?
Oh wow, looks great. Can't even tell it was damaged.
So we finished the job at the RV customer, and she was really happy with the results. So that's my favorite part of the job, is people who aren't familiar with the work that we do, and then they see it and they, oh my God, I love this. I didn't know this was possible. This is amazing. That's my favorite. That's actually my favorite part of the job. My husband said that I should work for the money and not for the warm feelings, but whatever. So to build my business, I came out of the automotive world. I worked in automotive engineering for a lot of years, and people management and project management, and they kind of recommend getting into the automotive side first. And so that's also something that I felt comfortable with, because I'd worked for Honda and Mack and Volvo, and so I started to hit some of the car markets. But I actually got really fortunate because there was nobody servicing a lot of that market in my area. So they started calling me because people were retiring during COVID, and there was a need for it. And actually people were calling me saying, where have you been? And so that worked out great. So that was kind of the beginning of my business, and I've always worked on cars, so that felt really comfortable for me. So that was kind of an easy in. I didn't know anything about boats or RVs, so I didn't do a lot of boat and RV stuff until people started calling me, and then I was like, if somebody does it, I can do it. And there's good training online, and I called some of the other Fibrenew people that I know were more experienced with those things before I did my first jobs, and I said, hey, what are going to be the surprises with this? How's this different from the other stuff that I'm doing? So between between the training and the technical videos that we have, and then just the one-on-one conversations of me calling like, hey, this is what they told me so far. What other questions do I need to ask? You know, what might I run into? You know, what else do I need to do to be prepared? Yeah, I mean, since then it's just go for it. And some days, these things don't always work out perfectly, but they always work out one way or another. The RV customer that we're headed to, we're doing a like a warranty job for them, so they're going to be claiming this against the manufacturer. So I need to send her, I'm sending her a quote right now so that way she can go ahead and get it approved. And we're actually on our way there to do the work. So I'm using Jobber, which is the software that's provided through Fibrenew, and it's really handy. It keeps my customer list. I do all my invoicing here. I can run reports. Like for instance, I ran like, okay, how does the first quarter of this year compared to the first quarter of last year? Like, I feel busier, am I busier? And I can see those numbers. So it's a great way to manage our business. I can see how much of my sales is cash, how much is credit cards, how much are direct transfers, that kind of thing. They do have the ability in here to like schedule and to keep all of your appointments. And if you want to run like with multiple vans, you can schedule people through Jobber. And so you can either use it I actually use it sometimes for my phone, I use it for my iPad, and also for my desktop sometimes. So it works on all three of those different devices. Yeah, so anyway, I'm just shooting off some quick quotes so my customer has them when we get there. So this unit goes out tomorrow. They're shipping it, and they found this gouge in the floor here. So, and it's right when you walk in the front door. So we're gonna make it look like it was never there. Before I joined Fibernew, I was used to fixing a lot of stuff. I'm really handy. I mean, I've laid floors, I've renovated bathrooms, I've worked on cars, and I've sewn and I've reupholstered stuff. And I kind of thought that training would be really redundant, and I was a little cocky going into training, thinking like that I was, you know, oh, this is going to be easy and going to be boring and stuff like that. And I actually learned almost everything I learned there was completely new. And so that was really humbling and worthwhile. I'm so glad I did, because even when I was looking at franchises, you know, I was considering doing this, I thought I could do this franchise, but I could also just do this myself. Like, I could just do this. I could do this myself. And I'm really glad that I did join Fibrenew, because I realized that had I done it myself, I would not be nearly as good at this as I am now. So I'm really glad that I joined Fibrenew because of that. And then, you know, I learned so much during the training, but then also they offer a lot of continuing education. There's a lot of like specialized, you know, learnings that you can, you know, videos and stuff that are unique to Fibernew that we can watch and learn from. And then obviously having 300 other people who are, you know, who do this all day, every day, you know, who are running into the same issues. It's really easy to call somebody up, and, you know, I love it when people call me. It makes me, you know, it's nice that they value, you know, my experience. And the other way too, it's really great knowing that when I have something come up, that there's so many people that I can call and that they're going to be just as helpful. So it's like the best, if you've ever worked anywhere else where you have coworkers and there's some you like and some you don't, the best thing about a franchise like this is like you can work with all the people that you like the most, and you don't have to work with anybody that you don't like. And so yeah, it's like having the best coworkers in the world. So we just finished this repair, and as you can see, the floor in here has a lot of texture and grain to it. So as my mom would say, it hides a lot of sins. And so this is our repair in here. So knowing where it is and looking at it, you can see it. But there's also lots of knots and other variations in this faux wood grain. And so it's gonna last. And I don't think the customer is ever gonna see it. And if they do, maybe, you know, if they point it out to them or something, maybe they'll say, "Oh wow, that looks great." So I think they're gonna be happy with it.
She dropped off a card here, and I reached out to her, and she responded very quickly, and we just became I don't know, it was kind of like professional at first, then we just became friends, and she was very responsive to what we needed. And I would text her and say, "Hey Suzanne, can you come fix this?" And she was like, "Here," like quick, fast, and in a hurry. She got the job done, and you couldn't even tell there was an issue. She's wonderful, she's professional, and she's great.
So we finished up the floor repair at the RV dealership, and that unit's ready to go and will ship tomorrow. And now we're at our next customer's house and a potential customer. So they called me and said that their furniture, they said that it's loose, it's coming apart. They didn't really send me any pictures, so I'm not sure exactly what we're going to find today, but figure we can stop by and take a look, and if it's something that I can repair for them, then we'll do it, or I can give them a quote or give them a recommendation. We stopped in the customer's house and we didn't really know what to expect, and it turns out that they had a sectional and it looked like it was in good shape. It's only about 2 years old, and between the different pieces of the sectional there's it's basically like a pin and a receiver situation. So it's like a bracket that has a slot in it and almost like a bolt head or a pin that slides down in there, which is what locks the different pieces of the sectional together. I think they had company over and probably had moved their furniture around, and it caused the pins to come out of those slots. And so anyway, she's like, how do I fix this? So we were able to just go ahead and put those back in for her, but it was kind of strange because there's one piece that didn't have any pins and bolts. It didn't have any of the brackets or pins. Like, they weren't laying on the floor or anything, they were just gone. So we agreed that I'd order some parts. I don't have those parts, so I'd order some parts for her and then come back and put those on as soon as I get the parts on hand. So we're able to make our customer happy. I have a customer, she's a real estate agent, so she's in her car a lot, and she just told us that she had a set of earrings and she put them in her back pocket, and when she sat down on her seat they scraped right along there, and it's a really nice Mercedes two-door coupe, a cute Mercedes, so we're going to fix this up for her. It should look really good. As far as where my work is coming from now, I didn't look at any data, but I feel like it's about 50-50 between repeat customers, commercial type customers, car dealerships, furniture companies, that kind of thing. Yeah, about 50-50 between people finding me through Google searches and whatnot, compared to repeat customers or referrals from from previous customers or commercial work where they're calling me in repeatedly. So yeah, I think that's about my customer split right now as far as the sources of my work. So this is the after. If you can see it, we fixed the little tears, the little dits caused by her earrings in there, and it looks good. And so it's re-dyed and top coated, and it should last as long as the rest of her seat does. And the customer's happy, so it's all that matters. We got a call from this dealership. There's a detailer that I'm familiar with, and he's been detailing the cars here, and he referred me the guy who said he needed some interior work, and he's like, hey, I know the lady, she's the one you want, she's the best. And so fortunately he gave them my name, and we happened to be down the street, so I was able to give them really quick service. We were here within about 15 minutes of the phone call. We just happened to have a chance to stop in, so yeah, here's a new dealership, and hopefully we have an ongoing relationship from here on out. Somebody just bought this Lexus, and the outside it looks great, and the inside you can see the seats need some work. The center console's in rough shape, and he's going to replace that, but he asked what I can do for the seats. So I'm going to re-dye them, and they won't be perfect, but they're going to look really good, and I think the customer's going to be really happy. And there's a little nick on the door too that I'm going to take care of, so everybody feels extra good. So, and he actually asked me, there's one back here that he pointed out, so I'll take care of that one too, and it'll be a win-win. So when I was looking at different opportunities and trying to decide where I wanted to go with my career, one thing that stuck out to me with Fibrenew is that it's something where I could really add value to the customer and provide a real difference. Some other like franchises and brands and other business opportunities felt, more gimmicky or multi-level marketing. It didn't feel like I was really making a difference to the customer. I felt like more like I would be taking advantage of them, or slipping one by, and I didn't want that. I wanted to do something where I really felt like I was meeting the need of a customer, and I found that with Fibrenew, and I love doing it. And one of my favorite thing is when after I do a job and the customer's like, I didn't think this was possible, this is so amazing, how do you do that, you have magic hands, I've never seen something like this. Like that's what makes my day when we do this kind of work. So that's my favorite part about the job. So it's the end of the day. We had a decent day today. We did the two RV jobs, and we did one car interior for a total of $705 is what I billed and made today. And then we also did a couple of estimates for future work. So one for $125, which is just going to be a small furniture job, and then also another one for $275 for some car work at a new dealership. And so hopefully that's the start of some new business there. So yeah, all in all, it was a pretty, and we left the house this morning at 10 o'clock and we're back home by 4, so we can't complain about that. Thanks for coming down and spending the day with me. Thanks for riding along, and I hope you had a great time.